Good morning, students. Today we shall be learning about your last chapter, that is maps and scale. So students, what do we understand by a map? A map is said to be a conventional representation of the Earth's surface pattern or a part of it. It is drawn on a flat surface, such as a paper, according to a given scale. Actually, maps are portraits of the Earth's surface. Now, students, the word map actually comes from the Latin word mappa, meaning a sheet of cloth. So, it gives us information about the places on the Earth's surface in greater details. Next, we can see the difference between maps and globe. So, we know that the globe is a sphere and is the accurate representation of the Earth, whereas a map is just display and it is on a flat surface. A globe doesn't have enough space to display all the information, whereas a map can display a variety of information. It can show us various conventional signs which we will be studying, that there are different types of maps. A globe is large, it is hard to carry or display, whereas a map can be easily carried. Globes are hard to write on and photocopy, whereas maps can be photocopied and you can easily make your notes on these maps. Now students, let us come to the understanding of what is a scale. Now a scale is a ratio of the distance between 2 points or places on the map and the actual distance between the same 2 points or places on the ground. So it is the distance on the map and which shows us the actual distance on the ground surface. Now with this, there are various types of scales, students. We shall be learning them in detail. So now a map scale indicates how much the earth has been reduced for reproduction on a particular paper. I'm sure if all of you seen your West Bengal map, which you all are doing, you will be able to see that on the right hand corner or the left hand corner there is a word called scale and it is written 1 centimeter is equal to 2 kilometers. That means the entire area of West Bengal has been converted and taken into scale to fit into that piece of paper. It is not just a sketch. On the contrary, it is the actual ground distance which has been reduced to fit on that particular paper. So that is why it is important for us to understand scale. Scale is an integral part of map. A map with scale represents the Earth's features more accurately, whereas in maps without the scale. Without the scale, students, a map is not a map, it is just a drawing of it. Now let us see what are the different types of scale. The first one is a linear scale. Now what is a linear scale, students? A linear scale uses a special ruler on a map to show what a distance on a map represents in the real world. So this comes in ratio. A scale is the ratio of the distance as we have studied. So here we can see the ratio of map distance to the ground distance, which can be represented and it can be done by this linear graphic scale. Now students, this linear graphic scale is when we are using it as a graphic method of explaining how a distance is being shown on the map. It is another way of expressing, and we need to know that a linear scale is generally divided into two divisions. You can see that the primary division is there and the secondary division is there. Now what is the merit and demerit of such a scale? A linear scale helps to determine easily the idea of a distance between the two places on a map by visual observation. And what is a demerit? Drawing of a linear scale requires a lot of time and therefore it is time consuming, and also it is not acceptable all over the world. The next is a direct or statement scale. This is a very direct one where I'm saying that 2 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer. Something you will see on your West Bengal maps which you all are doing at the moment. It describes the distance on a map represented in the real world. For example, here it is given 1 centimeter is equal to 10 kilometers. Now, this scale is sometimes called the numerical scale or a statement scale. What are the merits of this? It can be easily expressed. It does not need a representative fraction, or you do not need to draw a linear scale also. And what are the demerits? The language is a great problem. Statement scale is expressed in a certain language of a country. It cannot be accepted all over the world. For example, today I am saying 1 centimeter is equal to 10 kilometers. But another country who might follow a different unit will not be able to understand this. Next, coming to a RF or a representative fraction scale. Now, this representative fraction scale is basically units. That is, 1 unit on the map is represented by the units on the ground. For example, 1 is to 50,000. Here, 1 centimeter on the map represents 50,000 centimeters on the real ground level. Now, this scale also has certain merits and demerits. What are the merits? The scale is expressed in the same unit of measurement. So, if I am using centimeter, it is a centimeter. If I am using kilometer, it is kilometer. Next, the unit can easily be changed because we know we have learnt about conversion. So, we can convert centimeter to kilometer easily. Now, what is a demerit? Reduction and enlargement of map makes the scale useless because sometimes we are using this to reduce a map. For example, from 50,000 centimeter on ground, we are reducing it to only 1 centimeter. So, imagine how many minute details we are leaving out. And also, the calculating the RF becomes slightly difficult. With this, we can have a little look over here, which shows us the various types of scale and where exactly they are used. Like a large scale map, it usually covers a small area. A lot of details is shown, and under this large scale map, we have your topographical map, road maps, city maps, and bus maps. Next, we have a medium scale map. Here, a medium size area is demarcated. You do find details in between cities. Example, a city map of a particular city. For example, the Calcutta city map. Next, a small scale map. It covers a large area, and the details are little, like for example, your borders, lakes, rivers. They all come under the details. Example of such map would include your globes, world maps, and atlases. Now students, what do we understand by map legends or conventional signs? So map legends, these are conventional symbols which are usually given in a box at the corner of a map. This is called the index or legend or key of the map. The index or legend or key explains the meaning of the specified symbols and signs. For example, the color will denote, a red color will denote a metalled road, a symbol that shows that we have a temple, a church, a mosque which is located, a lighthouse, a PO will show that a post office is nearby. So these indexes help us to understand the map and to understand the particular details of the map as well. Next students, we have one of the most important thing without which any map is incomplete. It is the cardinal directions. Whenever you are doing map pointing students, the first thing you need to do is take the map and mark the north line. Without that, your map pointing is incomplete. Now, why is the cardinal direction so important to us? We can locate a place not only by knowing the distance, but we should also know the right direction to reach that place. It is therefore very important of a map. Now, maps are generally drawn with the directions not at the top of the page. Without this, you will not be able to understand the particular directions. Now, once the north line is identified, the south will be opposite to it. The east will be to its right and the west on its left. Because north and east lies northeast. So between these two lines, let me see students if I can highlight it for you. So between north and between east, we have the line which is northeast. Similarly, what we can see between south and between east we have the line southeast. Now, between south and west we have southwest, and again between north and west we have northwest. Now, this shows us the cardinal directions. These subdivisions, along with the four main directions means north, south, east, west, helps us to locate any place accurately. Now let us come to the various classification of maps. The first classification of map is a political map. A political map are designed to show the political divisions, boundaries of a country and nation, and visual pictures of the world or the continent. So here is a political map of India, which are showing us the states, the boundaries, and you can also see the main states, the country capitals, the union territories, and the international borderlines as well. Next, students, is your topographical map. Now, what is a topo sheet? A topographical map, which is popularly known as a topo sheet. The map has been designed to an accurate scale based on total survey. Now, usually you will find that this map is done on the scale that is a RF, representative fraction. Now, it gives us all the information regarding relief, landform, altitude, slope of the land, drainage, and major social aspects like road, railway, settlements, agriculture, and human activities as well. For example, the green patch that we can see on this topo sheet indicates a forested land. So this forest could be a source of income for the settlement who are residing in and around this particular area. Next, we shall learn about the thematic maps. Now, what is a thematic map, students? A thematic map shows us a particular theme that they can have, and this can be anything. For example, population, climate, vegetation, a language a particular region is following. So these are particular themes. These maps are designed to represent the distribution of anything on the Earth's surface and their spatial variation. That means from highest to the lowest. These maps show the distribution of temperature, rainfall, mountain, agricultural crops, fuel resources, trade, commerce, etc. For example, if we have taken this example over here, it is showing Africa. Here we can see that from highest to lowest, it could represent anything. It can represent, for example, it can represent vegetation. So vegetation, we know that top of Africa, there cannot be any vegetation. So we can see a shade of brown. It is a deserted area. Similarly, the parts which are light yellow, they also have certain mountains. For example, Mount Kilimanjaro. Therefore, they will not have too much vegetation. So it's slightly yellow in color. And we have green. Green represents your forested area, an area which is suitable for vegetation. Next, we have your geological maps. Now, what are geological maps? These maps are prepared to show the underlying rock features and structures to explain their influence on the landform features or the surface. Now, when we think of geological maps, what does it comes to us? We understand that there are certain rock strata. We only study the maps which are around us. That means the political maps, physical maps, which we are seeing the boundaries, the features, the relief features. But what lies under the earth? There are rocks, correct? Now, to study those rock structure, we need to study a particular type of map which is called a geological map. The next type of map is a weather map. Now, a weather map, as the name suggests, depicts weather condition of the day or a path. It sometimes helps to forecast the weather condition. Now, these maps are produced by meteorological offices to show the condition of the weather. You and I will not be able to prepare these maps because we need the correct meteorological evidences to be able to prepare this map. They are usually prepared by satellite images. The next one is your town maps. They are typical type of map. These are maps to show the town and country planning. These are large scale maps. We know what is a large scale map used for. They show urban landscapes of an important town. They are great used to town plan for preparation. So if you have this kind of a map, you will be able to know or build the town in a better way, because you know where is the river, where is the school, where is the road. So it is going to help you build a better township. So next is your cadastral map or the MOSA map. They are used for demarcating the boundaries of landed properties, fields, garden, buildings, etc. These are prepared by government agencies and are used by them for collecting the revenue purposes. That means, for example, if you have a building, so on how much acre is your building, or on how much land is your building there, or your plot, your land, how much land you're holding. So all that comes through the MOSA map or the cadastral. Now students, you've learned that so much about maps. Now I'm sure these maps have certain uses, otherwise why would we be learning about them? First and foremost, when you want to know of a place, you definitely need to refer to a map. It gives us a lot of idea, it makes us understand the direction and gives us accurate information of a particular place. Maps also provide a lot of information to the planners who plan roads, residential complexes, factories, parks, etc. Maps are used as legal documents showing ownership of land and boundaries. The strategies of an army even depends on the information provided by a map, especially those in the, for example, our army officers who are fighting in areas like Jammu and Kashmir. So they need to know the terrain, and this terrain is only possible by maps. Now, maps are useful for students and the common people. They are easy to handle and can be carried everywhere. So, students, without map, it is impossible for us, not only students of geography, but it is also important for a lot of fields. It helps the army people, it helps engineers, it can help a lot of people to understand the terrain, to study the terrain. It helps meteorologists to understand the weather pattern. So therefore, there are various types of map to suit the benefit and to suit the advantage of each of people. Now, students, if you have any queries or doubts, please mail me at rima.sma@outlook.com. With this, we come to an end of your year 9 syllabus. If there's any chapter which you all want me to revise, please send me a mail at rima.sma@outlook.com. Thank you, students.